Hello ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to, this is Forerunner, Zero Shot, done in 13 minutes and 45 seconds, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this was, it's a bitch, straight up, it's a bitch. The fact that you can't shoot, or that's the whole idea behind Zero Shot. Zero Shot is when you are allowed to use grenades, but you cannot fire a single bullet. You can use gravity hammer. Well, there is no gravity hammers in campaign. You can use swords, but that's it. You can't actually shoot. So, the thing about this mission is it's all Promethean enemies. And you've probably heard me talk about before how unfair they are and how much I can't stand fighting them in campaign. Because sometimes you go to smack a knight in the back, it just won't work. It simply won't work, and he'll just come around and beat the shit out of you. And it's honestly frustrating as hell. Sometimes you'll go to, you'll assassinate a knight and you run away, and the watcher will respawn him. Sometimes a knight will, go up behind him, and all of a sudden he'll turn around before you can get next to him. He'll hit you. So it's a bit unfair. So I'm not gonna lie. This mission is, honestly, I was going for, in total, 3 or 4 hours on the capture card before I got this single segment, because this first part right here is the hardest part, which you're going to see. If you can get past this, you have a pretty good chance of completing the mission. But this first part's a bitch, because right here I'm going to go try to assassinate him, but then he's going to see me, and I realize it's not worth it. Sometimes he'll poke out and you can assassinate him, no problem, but other times he'll turn around and one hit from a knight, if you even have the slightest damage on your shield, it's going to kill you. So honestly, this mission was just so frustrating for me, because there's certain parts are just so inconsistent, and the fact that you're doing a Zero Shot, you're just so out of control. Everything is basically sorry about that, I thought I heard someone at the door. But anyway, the fact is you're so out of control, and everything is reliant on what they're doing, especially them being a Forerunner, or it being Forerunner enemies, with the knights being able to teleport and stuff, and the watchers being able to respawn the knights when you're fighting the Covenant. I mean, they're just people. I mean, they're not people, but they're just a regular species, they're made out of flesh, so if you kill them, they're not coming back. They can't teleport, so that's why this mission is just so frustrating, because it's unbelievably annoying when you go to kill an enemy and you kill him and he gets respawned, or you go to backsmack him to get the easy kill, which is the only way you can really kill a knight in Zero Shot, and you go to hit him in the back and nothing happens, and he'll just turn around and kill you with one melee. So it's just unbelievably frustrating. I'm not going to act like this was easy, because it wasn't, and I'm not going to go tell anyone to go try this, because unless you're up for a complete world of annoyance and frustration, that's what you're going to be in. Some of these strategies you're going to see are very similar to just a legendary speedrun, but the only thing is, if something goes wrong, there's basically no plan B. This entire mission, you're basically flying by the seat of your pants, because, like I said, if something goes wrong, you can't shoot, there's nothing you can do. You just got to keep running and hope that you get through. This is a bit different from my legendary run. You're just going to do a little skip jump here, melee this, and you're just going to sprint right through here. Usually you don't get hit. Sometimes you do. If you get hit here, then you're screwed. Your shields are down, and you need full shields for this part, because or else I would have died here. If you're low on shields, you can usually jump to avoid headshots. Right there, I didn't have to, but you're going to melee, hide behind this thing here, and then basically you're just going to sprint, and most of the time you make it, sometimes you don't. That's what I'm saying about this run being so frustrating, is because sometimes you're just not going to make it, and really there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, maybe throw a couple grenades, but you're really going to need both grenades here, because you're going to see this is pretty hard to do with pulse grenades. Because sometimes with frags you can just skip it in there, but with pulse grenades you really gotta land it right on the power core there, and if you don't, you just gotta restart. So in these sections, like, there's really no room for error, and some of it there's nothing you can do. It's just flat out luck. So like I said, if you want to do it, go ahead. I would love to see someone beat it. I did have the time down to around 12 minutes and 35 seconds segmented. I only had 2 deaths in that run, and I was thinking about uploading that rather than this, but I stuck it out and got the single segment. So lucky for me, I got it, even though, like I said, total time that I was doing this run, this is after practice, like after I got all my practice done, I had my route set, I plugged the capture card in, and I think one day I did 2 hours straight I got so close to the end but died. Got frustrated, did it for another day. Next day, I think I did it for an hour that time, got frustrated, and I had to go to work or something. And then finally on the third day, about 45-50 minutes into it, I finally managed to get it. So there's almost no consistency with this just because you have no control, and that's basically the bottom line. Alright, so we got the first pylon down, and once you get this first pylon down, there's basically these 2 or 3 main very difficult parts. Not even difficult, but it's just blind luck whether you make it or not. And I haven't figured out a pure 100% strategy where you're going to make it every time if you do a certain thing. Just because you can't shoot, it's hard. It's really hard. So the couple of hard parts are going to be in that very beginning when you go across that first light bridge, and the first part with the knight, and I think it's the 6 crawlers right there. That's hard just because it's unpredictable for one. The part coming up here with the Banshee, not this part, but this part's pretty easy. You throw up the auto sentry, you're going to hop up on this rock, and usually you don't get shot. The problem with this jump, if you're getting shot, you're not going to make it, so make sure that you pop that auto sentry. Like I said, that's pretty consistent, which is nice. So that first part after the light bridge, that part's hard. Like I said, this part right here is all pretty safe. I'm just going to backsmack the knight. I didn't mean to assassinate him here, but I'm going to kill him. 1, because sometimes he drops grenades, which we're going to need. And 2, because if your shields are low, which sometimes they are low here, he's going to shoot you before they can come back. So it's important to get him just in case. Like, you want to play it safe. You got this far, and believe me, it's frustrating. And when you get this far, you don't want to die. So right here, you're going to save up your boost. Like I said, all this part's pretty easy. Another big part of this run is you're going to notice that I'm saving up my sprint for certain times, so that's very important. I usually get grenades in the left wing right there, but I got them from the knight right here. This is the hardest part in the entire mission because it's just blind luck. Sometimes you'll splatter him, sometimes you won't. If you move him off to the right, you want to just keep backsmacking him until his shields are down. Or if you get him down to a 1 hit when he goes in the Banshee, you can kick him out. But if you try to hijack his Banshee while he's still in there, he's going to take your shields down while you're taking off before the little cover on the Banshee comes up. So you want to take him out. Right here, I did mess this up. I could have shaved off probably 20 seconds if I didn't mess this up. I was kind of freaking out, so I just went down even though I knew that I wasn't really inside this little invisible wall here, so I had to end up going back up. I lucked out so much here. As you can tell, I'm probably freaking out because I've died at this point in the mission so many times. Right there, you see I go inside the invisible wall, and now I'm going to go down behind this rock. You can get behind this rock here. Wait for your shields to come back here, because they can still shoot you even though you're outside of the map. It's this part I've died so many times, it's ridiculous. Have your shields come back, save up your boost. You want to boost all the way around to the back here, because they can still shoot you where I am right now. Believe it or not. And since my Banshee's about to die, I was just praying they wouldn't shoot me. It's happened before. Like I said, it's basically blind luck if they shoot you or not. Okay, so then here we go. That's the big part. Second pylon's done. Right here is a big sigh of relief, because that is basically the hardest part of the mission, just simply because there's, first of all, you have to be able to kill that elite, or at least get him out of the way of the Banshee. Second, you have to make sure that you're not getting EMP'd or getting Banshee bombed by one of the other Banshees, because if that happens, you're done. Then third, you have to get inside the invisible wall, and then you have to get below the rocks before the other Banshees shoot you down. So there's 4 things that are completely out of your control. It's just really frustrating, again, as I've said a million times. So if you can do this, I would love to see it. Honestly, I wish someone could find an easier route, because it was just, like I said, blind luck. Alright, so coming up down the third and last pylon, and like I said, there's one main challenging part coming up here. This part's kind of hard because you got to think you can't shoot them coming out of the ship here, and there's usually 2 grunts with needlers, so they will tear you apart if you don't get behind something. So save up your sprint like I'm doing here. You want to throw your 2 nades. That's why we got it from the knight when I assassinated him before. Pop the auto sentry, and that was relatively fast there. But like I said, you gotta make sure you get behind cover, or else those grunts are gonna destroy you. And like I said, you can't shoot them back, so you really gotta be quick there. Right here, you're gonna see an elite at the top of the screen kind of move across. There he is on the radar. Once he moves across, like I said, you want to save up your sprint here, and then once you get kind of like even with that one pillar, you're gonna sprint. Hopefully this knight doesn't see you. Like I said, it's blind luck. Sometimes he sees you, sometimes he'll melee you. Right here, I was just hiding because, like I said, I was shitting myself. Making sure the doors closed and I was safe. They were safe, so then I just got in the elevator. I could have hopped on top of the ammo thing, mabob there, but I didn't. Not a big deal. Right here, you just want to wait for the grunts to move forward a bit, just because if they see you, like I said, one of them has a needler, so like I said, if you ever play a legendary campaign, you know that destroys you in a second. I got lucky here. Usually there's a knight here. I was planning on popping the auto sentry, got a bit lucky, and we're just going to jump up here. Like I said, you can shoot back. Sometimes they're going to shoot you down here, sometimes they won't. One time I died right there. One more shot, or one less shot, and I would have survived, but that one got me. I wanted to throw my controller. Once you get to this point, you're basically home free, as long as you practice the ghost section. But other than that, you're basically safe. I haven't died here very often. Sometimes you'll get shot with a binary as you're walking up here. That's annoying as hell. These are all just examples of how annoying the mission can be when you can't shoot any bullets. But see, I almost died there from the pulse grenade. That would have been so bad. So then here we are. We're in the last checkpoint. We're almost in the home stretch. Some people think this part's a bit of a bitch, but really it's not too bad. You just have to practice. There's certain parts where you got to know which rocks are coming down, where to go. And I can understand it can be unpredictable, but this is the only part of the entire mission where you really have complete control, because no one's shooting at you and everything is consistent in this part. There's no inconsistencies and it's not random. So once I was here, I was pretty confident that I was going to make it. So when I'm looking back on this run, it definitely made me think a lot about the Halo 4 campaign in comparison to other campaigns. And I understand that 343 wanted to make a new enemy, and I really like the choice they had for the Prometheans. I just think that the mechanics behind them is a bit unfair coming from a speedrunner's point of view. And if you ever tried to speedrun, even if you played on Legend, actually even if you played any of the campaign, I'm sure all of us have gone through points where we wanted, or we go up behind a knight to backsmack him, or we finally kill him and we go to run away because our shields are low or whatever, and we come back and the watcher brought him back. Or you go to backsmack him and he turns around and he melees you. So I just think that maybe 343 needs to institute some sort of buffering system to, one, make the mechanics smoother so that the knights aren't so invincible for one. So if they were to teleport, maybe their shields are down, or they can only teleport once in a 5-minute span or something, because that can be extremely frustrating. I've had times where I go up to backsmack a knight, and right before I'm about to hit him, he'll teleport, and then I'm completely out to dry because all his friends, all the crawlers and watchers, are there to light me up. As for the watchers, something needs to be done about them, because first of all, they can put up shields in front of things. They can respawn enemies. So if you were a beginner at this campaign, let's say, you would keep killing the knight and keep killing the knight. He'd keep coming back, and if you didn't know, you would just keep killing it and you wouldn't even know. It would take you so long to realize before you see the actual watcher doing that action. So I just think that 343 is going to have to redo the mechanics behind the actual gameplay. I think the enemy is awesome. I think the story is good. I just think they need to redo the mechanics. But anyway, that's enough of me ranting. Of course I flipped it here, right? That is the end of this run. It'll be done 13:45. And after this video, there's going to be a couple links to 2 custom maps. The one on the left is Long Haul, and the one on the right is Holdout. Please take a look if you don't mind, and let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later.